Hello everyone, it's me, Juan Gamer54, back in the video. Today, you're seeing the title, Game Theory, Tackling, Poppy Playtime, Chapter 4. Now, honestly, I was trying to get Chapter 4 theory out myself, but, such things came up, and, I gotta do some... Because, Halloween's almost approaching, and as much as I would love to say FNAF is Halloween... My voice? What happened? The fact of the matter is, I haven't really done any Halloween stuff, to be honest. So I gotta remedy all that. I gotta fix that. So I've been working. But anyways, forget all that. We are gonna be doing a reaction to this. So you know what's the deal. Sit back, relax. Here we go.
I know who the main villain is for Poppy Playtime Chapter 4. No, it's not the prototype. No, it's not Poppy.
What?
And no, it's not this new sheep critter from the teaser. Although while that last one may not be the big bad, it turns out this black sheep is in fact the key to figuring out who is.
Really?
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, the black sheep of the gaming world.
Oh yeah, I hope he's not going to talk. I really hope they tackle it, because I want to put my 2 cents in, but if it not, then that's good for me too, because I have my opinions about the nightmare critters. Stay tuned.
Everyone else is being cute, doing Let's Plays. We're over here chowing down on the stories of orphans shoved into plushies. But we're not alone, because we just got ourselves a brand new teaser for Poppy Playtime Chapter 4. A Dog Day plushie walks through a room until out of the shadows, a black clump pounces and begins chowing down.
Leave Dog Day alone, man. Why is my man getting disrespected?
Hi. See, Poppy and I really are a match made in heaven. Or hell, I suppose. Over the next 2 weeks, we learned a little bit more about this character. Their name is Barbar Chops, and apparently their design was inspired by the YouTuber Sheep Rampage and their fan-made smiling critter. Good for you, man. Nice to see some theorists in this community getting recognition. Of course, theorists across the internet began theorizing about this sheep and what they would do as the primary villain of this chapter. Only for the marketing communications manager of Mob Games, Tyler, to make this comment on the Poppy Playtime Discord. Lamau, you'll really think the sheep is the main villain.
This is some rather inconvenient lore placement.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm thankful for having the record set straight. It's more than we get from some franchises.
Dang.
But did you really have to mock us with it? After this, we were shown that Barbar...
Bro, that's disrespectful. How could you say that? Listen, what? Is it because the sheep is small? Hey, man, it doesn't matter the size of the dog. It matters the fight in the dog, okay? Yeah, dang. Like, I know, every single villain we fought in Chapter 1 to 3 has been bigger than us, but hey, man, I'm pretty sure the sheep could have done something. Man.
I wasn't alone, but part of a new group of toys.
Yep, there it is.
Nightmare critters. We've got characters like Raby Baby, Icky Licky, and Tui.
Really?
Oh, come on, you can't tell me they didn't know what they were doing with these names. Regardless, this was a pretty clear sign that critters like Barbar weren't going to be the primary villains of this chapter. But then, who is? Of course, we could just wait for the next teaser to find out. But
True.
You know what? I don't actually think we need to. Because even though Barbar may not be the main villain, the decision to use them in the teaser instead of any of the other new critters was intentional. Their inclusion is incredibly important because it actually helps us figure out who the real villain is going to be. So let's start digging through the piles of decaying toys, loyal theorists, to see if we can find the tiniest scraps of lore to chew on. For starters, how is Barbar the key to figuring all this out? Well, for that, we've actually got to go back in time a little bit and talk about another recent development in the Poppy Playtime world, a series of videos released on Mob Entertainment's YouTube channel called The Story So Far. Each video involves Harley Sawyer.
I'm called the Doctor.
Oh yeah,
those
VHS.
Start the Bigger Bodies initiative. He is narrating us through the events of chapters 1, 2, and 3. Seems pretty straightforward. However, when the first video came out, fans were quick to notice that something wasn't quite right. At 1 minute and 28 seconds, there were hidden frames that showed the letters IV, A, R, and G, followed by the phrase, "Let the game begin." IV is the Roman numeral for 4, and the other letters, well, I'm sure you can figure that part out. This was the start of the chapter 4 ARG, which was very exciting. Chapter 3's ARG revealed a ton of information about
What do you mean there was an
gas, how they
ARG
make
about
experiments,
Chapter 4
and the
way
human
before then?
identity of catnap. So people began scrambling to find whatever answers they could about this thing. Big shout out to everyone over on the Poppy Playtime Discord, by the way. While I have been trying to solve all these clues on my own, these guys were incredibly quick on the draw, solving
Hey,
puzzles
man.
just
Good job
hours
on the
after
theorist. I
release,
give you your
including
props.
Sheep Rampage, the YouTuber I mentioned earlier. So if you want to stay on top of the latest Poppy ARG stuff in the future, I highly recommend you go and check them out. There's a
All
link
right.
in the description. Hi, Future Tom here. So I'm literally about to head out for a vacation, but I've just seen that there's potentially more to this ARG. Members of Mob's Partners in Crime program have been receiving letters with hidden clues. At the time I'm recording, there's only been a handful of clues. They're still missing a couple of key components, but by the time this episode comes out, the rest may have been revealed. So definitely go and check out the Poppy Playtime Discord if you want to see where that ended up. I don't believe it's going to change much about this episode, but I just wanted to let you know so you're not wondering why I'm not talking about those codes specifically. Okay, back to the ARG.
Alright, so that makes sense. So, I guess I'll definitely have to be on the lookout for those. But, okay. So, there's an ARG, well, an ARG that already started, I guess, like, around the development of Chapter 3. And it was all about Chapter 4. Okay, now I'm just interested to see what's going on.
Fortunately, none of us had to wait too long for our first major clue. Right at the end of that first video, we got this wall of text. At first, it looks like our
Cipher.
old friend Base 64. So
Oh.
I tried it and ended up with this. Yeah, not exactly what we're looking for.
Cipher,
But
right?
Did you know that there are actually more base ciphers than just 64? Base 64 gets its name from containing 64 unique characters, a capitalized and non-capitalized alphabet, numbers 1 to 9, and a couple of symbols. However, there are a bunch of base forms that use a different amount of unique characters that we can try. We actually used base 5 back in our That's Not My Neighbor video, but there's also
Okay.
stuff like base 16, base 36, base 62, base 85, and the one that came in handy today, base 32. This
Oh,
one uses
okay.
a single alphabet and the numbers 1 to 7. So if you see a code that looks like it should be base 64, but it lacks any symbols or the numbers 8, 9, or 0, try base 32. The more you know. Anyway, by
Got it.
converting the code, you get this. On felted feet and with bated breath, sleep draws ever near. Felted feet seemed like it would be talking about a toy, and with the second line being about sleep, I immediately thought of catnap, with their red smoke sending orphans to sleep. But why
Yeah.
would we be reminded of him in the build-up to Chapter 4? Catnap was our last villain, and he's kind of suffering from a minor case of deadness. This is where I think Barbar's prominence in the teaser comes into play. Sheep have been associated with sleep for centuries. I'm
Yes.
sure you've all heard that if you're struggling to fall asleep, you can always try counting sheep. It's not entirely clear where this phrase originated, but some say it's from medieval shepherds in Britain who would count their sheep before turning in for the night. As time went on, the idea became more about thinking of a task that's so repetitive you'll get bored and fall asleep. So if sleep is drawing ever near in this new chapter,
Oh, come on!
shocking new report.
Alright, we're back. Alright, this will throw a wrench in my theory, but I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say, alright? I'm just gonna let the video go on, alright? This is a long video.
Sleep. So if sleep is drawing ever near in this new chapter, having a sheep character could make a lot of sense. Maybe they should have called her Lullabar instead.
Boo!
Oh, come on, it's no worse than Barbar Chops, and you know it. This
I
connection
mean,
to
I guess,
counting
but
sheep
still.
could also imply that we need to keep track of Barbar throughout this chapter, counting them, if you will, either in order to survive or to lead us into a deep sleep. A deep sleep that's a little deeper and a little more permanent according to our next code.
Hey, it's me, former host Matt Pat.
Hey!
This video with a special announcement. I'm here to tell you I'm retiring. Again!
Didn't he already retire?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Did this guy already leave?
Oh, that's what I was thinking. Oh, okay, let's hear him out.
What's
And
going
the
on?
answer is yes, but also no. You see, since leaving this channel, I've been over on GT Live having a grand old time being bad at video games and turning 1-minute videos into 90-minute theory fests. But now it's time for me to bow out of that channel as well, giving
Aw.
way to the new host, Ash, who, let's be honest, is way funnier than me anyway.
I feel like Judge Judy is the Ed Sheeran of like Americans over the age of 60.
Come on, Matt Pat, again! You're breaking my heart.
Americans over the age of 65.
Amazing.
So this Saturday, Saturday, October 26th at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern, at 10 o'clock Pacific, we're having a big going away party live, and I want you to be there. Consider it an Eras tour for GT Live, where we're playing games and getting all nostalgic about the last decade of streaming. And most importantly of all, this whole thing is meant to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation, an organization that works to make the wildest dreams come true for children fighting the world's most critical illnesses. In fact, in this stream, we're raising money for their most urgent wishes, what are known as the rush wishes, the ones where sadly the children don't have that much time left. The reason this meant so much to me is that basically you all made my wishes come true thanks to this career on YouTube, and now
I still
as my
can't
final
believe
act,
that he
I'd
made
like
it to
to
the
pay it
movie.
forward by
That is
making
such a
other
huge honor.
people's wishes come true. Seemed like a really fitting note to go out on. And hey, if you want to start contributing now, as part of the charity event, we're actually having an auction of some old Matt, Pat, and GT Live memorabilia from over the years, with all the proceeds going to help those critically ill children to get their wishes granted. You can actually get your hands on some super rare, one-of-a-kind items, like the morph suit that I wore from that edible underwear episode.
I'm
the
not
giant
wearing that.
Pikachu that's hanging around
I
our
might
office.
get
We have a
that.
signed copy of Undertale from yours truly, so you can own one along with the Pope, and even my signature red jacket. Yeah, the one that's been hanging up on set since my retirement video. One of a kind, signed by me. You'll see it live on the stream, so you know it's real. Anyway, all those items and more are available right now for you to bid on all throughout this week up until the auction closes during the finale live
right,
stream.
it's
So
money.
if you're
Dang.
interested in contributing
But
to
your
an amazing
boy's
charity
broke.
and an amazing cause, or if you're interested in just getting some cool stuff, make sure you check out the link down in the description below, and be sure you're there this Saturday, the 26th at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific for one.
Alright, I know we just went through all that, and I gotta take a little break. Come on, Matt Pat. I was trying to do this video, and then you come in and tell me that you're retiring again. Again? Double retire? You know what? It's fine, okay? He did, you know, I give my salutes to him, but let's get to the video, alright? But, yeah, we already know the live stream and all that, but let's do this, okay? I feel so sad now.
In the very first
Theory
frame of
make me
Chapter
happy.
2 story so far video, we find this code. This is a hexadecimal code, and translating it gives us the message 11 words, good luck. To find these 11 words, we have to go frame by frame through the video. Sometimes there's just one jumbled up word hiding out, sometimes there's two, but in total there are 8 codes giving us the full 11 words. Now we just
Alright.
need to figure out what they mean. Because these codes were made up of only letters, my gut told me it was probably a Caesar cipher, and that hunch turned out to be correct.
Yay!
Kinda. It was a
What?
Caesar cipher, but not the same one for the entire code. A Caesar cipher works by shifting
Don't
the phrase
tell me we
backwards
have to
or
use
forwards a
multiple
certain number of
codes.
letters. However, each of these 8 codes has been shifted by different amounts. You can't just plug them all into one code breaker and call it a day. So after playing around with it for a while, you end up with this assortment of 11 words. Am not, paths, turning, of death, but I, over, afraid, and clear. Obviously, this doesn't make a lot of sense right now. We need to find the correct order. And this is where the puzzle goes from a little bit tedious to actually quite genius.
Really?
Take a closer look at the solution. The 8 codes have been shifted by a number between 1 and 8. PFSW is shifted by 1, RCVJU is shifted by 2, and so on. If you then place all of these words in the order of the shift values, you get the final phrase. I gotta tip my hat to you, Mob Games. At first I thought you were just drawing out the solution to make it seem bigger, but that's a level of thought-through puzzle solving that
I'll
would
give
make
you
a
your
grown
props.
animatronic cry. Combining this with our previous code,
Come
we
on,
end
stop
up
slandering
with
my boy
this.
Freddy.
Felted feet and with bated breath, sleep draws ever near. Over paths turning clear, but I am not afraid of death. Unlike the sleep and nightmares that were caused by the red smoke in Chapter 3, the sleep that is coming for us in Chapter 4 is simply death. But that's not actually what stood out to me. For the first time, we have got the use of a pronoun. I. Up until this point,
I'm
this
not
could have just
afraid.
been a cryptic poem for the sake of an ARG. But this
But what? Okay, well, who would be afraid at this moment? I mean, Segway could say that it just be us. Like, hey, we already know the deal about, you know, Playtime Co. We already know the fact that they are scum. They turn kids and adults, but mostly kids, to basically all the discarded and also eaten and also monstrous toys that we have been in our trip down in Playtime Co. So, yeah, we've already dealt with all the stuff, so we're pretty much numb to this at this point. We are not afraid. But who would be afraid in all this? Could it be Poppy? No, I don't think. It could be Poppy. I mean, because Poppy is going down with us, down to the layers, but we're also trying to find Kissy as well. So it could be Poppy. I mean, like, she's small, so most likely she would be afraid, but then because she's usually on top of Kissy, right? She's usually not like facing the stuff, okay? She wasn't the one facing Mommy Longlegs. We were the ones. She got captured. We were the ones who fought Catnap. She was just staying on Kissy's shoulder. So could chapter 4 be Poppy playtime? I mean Poppy basically taking up more of an active role? It's interesting to say the least. That's what I'm just thinking.
Shows us that's not the case. It's about a specific character. Interestingly, all of the stories so far videos have started with a date, 2005. That's 10 years after the Hour of Joy, the event that killed all the employees in the factory, and around the same time that we came back to try and find anyone.
Okay, so the game takes place in 2005.
Poppy told us that everyone was killed, but we know this isn't the full truth. Leith Pierre seems to still be around, able to run Project Playtime, and the writer of the Orientation Notebook, PW, is also still alive to write in the book. Now, we seem to have another character that has survived the Hour of Joy. However, unlike PW and Leith, who seem to be free, I don't think this one is, and that's because of the way the poem is written. It follows an ABBA rhyming scheme. The first line rhymes with the fourth line, and the second line rhymes with the third. This evokes a feeling of claustrophobia or entrapment, because you have the BB rhyme enclosed by the two A rhymes. This is telling us that the character it's about is likely trapped. And with that line about felted feet and sleep...
Oh, come on!
character it's about is likely trapped. And with that line about felted feet and sleep drawing near, it's telling us that they are actually trapped down in the facility, being hunted by the toys. Although I will say this character doesn't seem particularly scared. Despite this sleep drawing near, they see an open path before them, and they're not afraid of death.
They're probably
This
just
line
numb to it
sparked
at this
a
point.
memory from my time going to a Church of England high school. One of the common passages from the Bible that we had to read out in assemblies was Psalm 23. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Just like in the ARG poem, there is a path ahead that is full of death. But the writer of the psalm, King David, isn't afraid of it. He goes on to say that the Lord's rod and staff comfort him, tying it back to the beginning of the psalm where he refers to the Lord as his shepherd. David is not afraid of death because he has something much stronger on his side, God. That might seem like a completely unrelated tangent, but if you think back to chapter 3, it was full of religious implications with characters like Catnap. Chapter 3 confirmed that he
Let me
used to
guess,
be
then
orphan
the prototype
Theodore, but when
is
he
the
got
god
injured trying to help
in question.
1006 escape, the prototype took him to Playtime co-scientists in order to save him. Catnap was the result, and so he worshipped the prototype, saying things like, "The prototype will save us, and I live to serve our angel of salvation." Religious inspiration is all over Poppy
Bro,
Playtime,
Catnap is starting to sound like
especially when
Sammy
it comes to the
Lawrence.
prototype and his role as a god or savior to these orphans. He is their god, their good shepherd, the one that has promised to save them from death. Could this mean that this poem isn't about another human employee, but the newest toy to be put front and center, Barbar? Are we dealing with another orphan turned toy turned 1006 cultist? I don't think so, because Barbar isn't just any sheep. She's specifically a black sheep. These days, if you're called a black sheep, it means that you're kind of the odd one out, the outcast. You just don't quite fit in. But originally, the phrase came from literal sheep. Black sheep were considered undesirable by shepherds because their black wool couldn't be dyed, and so it became hard to sell. So when you got a surprise black sheep in your flock of only white sheep, it was considered a bad omen. By the 18th and 19th century, the color black even started to be associated with the devil himself, the one who was opposing God. And so, with Barbar being a black sheep, she would likely be considered undesirable to the shepherd and opposed to the god we've been introduced to, 1006. She's not going to be working with him like the other toys are. Instead, this solidifies my hunch from earlier that she is going to be helping us. She is going to want to take him down. On chapter 4's scene page, it does say we'll be meeting new characters and allies after all. And you know what they say, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But if this poem isn't about about Barbar, then
What?
who is it about? Well, you've probably figured out that we still haven't talked about Chapter 3's video, and in it there is one more code to find, which really is the final piece we need. At 3...
Okay, so the black sheep is helping us. Okay. Okay. You know what? I dig it. And tactically speaking, most likely we could see some interactions between Poppy and the black sheep. You know, like Poppy saying that, no, I don't trust you. And it's like, it don't matter if you don't trust me. I know you want to take down the prototype. He wants to take down the prototype. I want to take out the prototype. So we're gonna have to work together whether you like it or not. And we're all just gonna be there like, how did I get wrapped into this? So, okay. Hey man, we need more allies, alright? Unless we need some heavy hitters. Bring in Braun. We need Braun the dinosaur. We need them right now. We need some heavy hitters in our side.
minutes and 58 seconds, you'll find the very obvious wall of binary text.
Oh, boy.
However, this code doesn't seem to work when plugged into a normal binary decoder.
What?
There's a second binary code a few frames later that does work, but it only gives us the phrase 25x25. This is where I've got to give another shout out to the Poppy Playtime Discord. I was
Again?
scratching my head for a good while with this one, but in less than 2 hours, they had figured out that this original code was actually an image converted into binary. And the 25x25 was an aspect ratio that you needed to use to get the final image. Once again, Mob Games just killing it with these puzzles. The only person I could find suggesting this solution was a user.
Alright, no, I'm sorry I keep pausing. But alright, Mob Games, my fault. Alright, I'll take back some of the things I say under my breath about you guys. I'll take back some. Alright, not fully. Cause we ain't gonna forget about the NFT stuff. But, you know, I give you my hat to you.
Clecchino, so massive props to figuring this out, and thank you for helping me with this one. By converting
Also,
the
clap
binary
it up
back
for this
into an
man.
image and
This
setting
person
the
right here.
aspect ratio
Clap
to
it up.
25 by 25, we end up with a familiar sight, a QR code. Scanning the code gives you a string of letters which, when reversed, gives you the final phrase, for we have already met. That final line is fascinating. On its own, it's telling us that this character the poem is about is literally someone we've already met. A new account on the Poppy Playtime Discord called Playtime Code seemed to confirm this idea.
Don't say it.
Users asked them if they were the ones sending the messages, and they responded with the same line, for we have already met. These tapes came out before the teaser, so it can't be Barbar or any of the nightmare critters, and most of the other toys we know are dead, so it would need to be one of the human characters we've been introduced to. We've got a lot of characters.
Okay, I thought he was gonna
like
say
Eddie
Catnap
Ritterman,
is
Johnny
alive.
Roth, and Stella Graber, although only one of them speaks about overcoming death in similar poetic language, and we hear them during the intro of Project Playtime Season 2.
Mortality is the curse of the weak, the fire that incinerates the flesh. I strive to snuff that flame, calling me a monster, but I am simply a man, escaping incineration and embrace the infinite.
Ding ding ding, we have a match.
What?
The same character that has been guiding us through the story so far videos the entire time.
Thank you.
Harley Sawyer. It feels so
What?
obvious now. The guy speaking to us in the tapes is also the one the poem is referring to. The one character who speaks in
Wait, is he the
well-structured,
professor?
very poetic sentences, and whose only desire is to overcome his own mortality. And now, according to this poem, it seems like he did just that. When you take the final phrase and put it with the rest, it reads like this. On felted feet and with bated breath, sleep draws ever near. Over paths turning clear, but I am not afraid of death, for we have already met. For we have already met isn't just about us having met this person. It's about the person, Harley, meeting death, but still being around to talk about it. He isn't afraid of death because he overcame it. And there's only one way that happens in this franchise. You have to be turned into a toy. During Catnap's VHS tape in Chapter 3, we hear Leaf Pierre leading the session instead of Harley, because in his own words...
Can some people not just take a hint? We have dealt with people who've been who've been doing too much in indie games just to escape death, bruh. Let it go. You lived a good life. Well, I can't really speak in your preference, Harley. or the doctor, because heck, I don't know you personally. Most definitely, you are probably a piece of trash, and people be preying on your downfall. Heck, if you even are the professor, I was one of those people preying on your downfall. But let it go, man. We sometimes people have to go to make way for the new. God dang it. Whew. So, okay, I need to check to see if Harley Sawyer is actually the professor, because if he's the one who started the Big Body Initiative, then it's about time we run the hands with this man. It's about time.
Normally I'd have Dr. Sawyer do this, but he's, out, let's say.
Out. Oh, come on. That's 3 times that I said, oh, come on. Make that 4th time. I don't know, guys. I might probably buy YouTube. I might probably. I might. You know that me. I want to break from the ads. Yes, I do. YouTube Premium, I suppose, but I don't know, because I'm pretty sure everyone likes the thing when I say, "Oh, come on," like I just say it so loudly and such. Like, it's a good time, but I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I mean, it's just a catchphrase at this point now
Do this, but
that I
he's,
am unwillingly just grabbed.
out, let's say. So you got me until they find his replacement.
The way Leith says Harley is out feels incredibly uncertain. He's clearly not able to perform his duties anymore, hence the need for a replacement. But it's not as definitive as saying he was fired or no longer with us. And these Story So Far videos prove that he definitely isn't dead. Right at the end of the Chapter 3 video, the camera pulls back to reveal a bunch of security camera feeds. As we pull back, Harley's narration audio changes slightly. It's no longer on the VHS tape. It's being spoken from within the security room. This is not a pre-recorded message. He's been down here physically watching us throughout our journey, which makes Leith.
So we're going to have security camera section down below.
It's almost as if Leith doesn't really know what to call Harley anymore, because Harley isn't who he once was. Harley has done what he set out to do in his incineration monologue. He overcame death and became a living toy. This is what the Bigger Bodies initiative was always for. He initially framed it as a way to save the company, but in reality,
Let me
it was
guess,
to
and he
further
needs
his
Kissy
own
Missy's
twisted
body
goals
to
of living
gain that.
forever. And unlike the writer of Psalm 23, Harley didn't wait for a god to help him. He used science and became a god himself. He now has power over life and death. He has been helping others to beat death. He has almost become a Jesus-like character. Harley sees himself as a god, a savior, a shepherd. He is here to lead the flock to eternal life. That grace, however, doesn't seem to apply to us. He ends the video by saying, "We are being led like lambs to the slaughter," and then he laughs maniacally. Again, it's more shepherd imagery, but it's not the response of a good shepherd that's going to take care of us. It's a threat. It's the response of a power-hungry madman that's going to lead us to the slaughterhouse. Which leads me to believe that Harley, or the toy he has become, is going to be the real villain of Chapter 4. He's never been afraid of killing people that he sees as a problem. He created Boxy Boo and taught him to desire human flesh in order to get rid of people like Rowan Stoll, who were going to expose the entire operation. If we survive this trip to the factory, we would likely be doing the same thing. All of the quote-unquote good things he did would be undone, and he can't have that. But you know what? I'm gonna do you one better. It's all well and good knowing the human identity of our upcoming villain, but let's be honest, the thing we all really care about is what toy Harley is going to appear at. At the time of recording, a trailer hasn't been released revealing this new toy. However, I think I've already figured out what it's going to be, and it's all thanks to a little thing called trademarks. A trademark basically shows a person's or business's ownership over a word, phrase, logo, character, that.
Oh yeah, I think I remember. Yes, I remember. We did a reaction, a retro reaction about FNAF, right? We were doing a little reaction. It was supposed to finish during the FNAF anniversary, where I was basically reacting to MadPat's old FNAF videos, and then we carried it over here on October for spooky stuff. But I do remember that MadPat brought up that Scott Coffin, the creator of FNAF, has already made some trademarks onto like names such as Biddy Bab, Baby, Ballora, Funtime Fred, Enard. This was around the time, like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just check out the videos, like the Game Theory videos about like about, you know, this was during the development and also release of Sister Location. So it's probably there. I probably did a reaction to it. I'll probably leave it in the link below because oh man, I totally forgot about all that.
Thing. People file for trademarks so that other businesses can't then use those recognizable ideas to help sell their own products. Mob Entertainment has a bunch of trademarks, mainly for the names of their characters across video games, merchandise, and of course, stuffed toys. For example, all the Nightmare Critters had their names trademarked back in September. However, when you
Why
look
do
at
I feel
Mob's
like I want
trademark
to
list,
get
there are
them?
two names that haven't been used, both of which were registered in May, long before the Nightmare Critters. For them to have been registered so long ago but remain unused, they have to be key characters to this upcoming chapter. Each chapter has introduced us to multiple monsters after all. In chapter 3, alongside Catnap, we got Mr. Light. In chapter 2, we had Bunzo and PJ Pugapillar alongside Mummy. So with there being two unused names, it's more
And Huggy is
likely
just
that's
Huggy.
what we're seeing here. One of these guys is going to be the scary but secondary villain, while the other one takes the role of our big bad and Harley's new toy body. The question is, which one? Well, the names are as follows: Yarnaby and Doughy the Dough Man. No, I'm not joking. That is the real trademark.
Doughy?
Is most likely going to be made of yarn. Would be a bit weird to call him that if he wasn't, right? But yarn could be an interesting choice for Harley's new body, mainly for thematic reasons. He has been pulling the strings of
I mean, I
Playtime
guess,
since
yeah,
its
I mean-
introduction, starting the whole Bigger Bodies initiative under false pretenses. That being said, Doughy the Dough Man, as silly as that name seems, also makes a surprising amount of sense when it comes to the theme. At first, I thought this was going to be a Pillsbury type character. Nothing more frightening than a Pillsbury swole boy. But for me, it feels like a strange choice for a toy. Unless, of course, you're talking about the non-edible kind of dough, Play-Doh. Play-Doh is so versatile, you can make anything with it. You can mold and shape things as you see fit. You can combine different pieces together.
He
or
gonna
tear
be
them
like a
apart.
Play-Doh
Whatever
symbiote.
perfect vision you have, Play-Doh can help bring it to life. It fits so perfectly with Harley. He was playing God, molding and shaping the world to his vision, combining humans and toys together to create his perfect reality. Play-Doh would also give mob games a chance to try a different kind of material to show off their animation skills. Something that's detachable, malleable. Harley could literally take whatever form he wanted at any given time, making him an even more
That would be cool.
powerful god. So personally, my money's on Doughy, but who do you think it is? I'm actually kind of interested to have you guys vote on this. So on screen right now, you'll find two videos. If you're voting for Team Yarnaby, click the video on the left. If you're on Team Doughy, click the video on the right. Regardless,
What the heck? We can do multiple choice? I mean, okay, I guess we'll have to do that, I suppose.
whichever one it turns out to be, I feel pretty confident that Harley is going to be the one driving it. I guess we'll just have to wait for Chapter 4 to see if I'm right. But in the meantime, remember, that's just a theory. A game.
Look, all I'm about to say is, it don't matter to me. It don't matter if he's Team Yarnaby. I don't care if the Doctor is Team Doughy. All I know is that we finally about to run them hands with this man. I'm about to give him this lethal 12-piece combo. Alright, it's about time. I got the grab pat ready. I'm about to shoot. I'm about to use the electric one. The green one. Expeditiously, I promise you. But dang. Alright, so that's going to be the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like the videos, I know you guys enjoy. Comment down below what you guys think. Honestly, this is a very good video, to say the least. I never really thought myself... I'll be honest. I wasn't really thinking that Poppy Playtime was going to last long. But the fact that I'm so hype about this, it's got me interested. And it's going to be crazy how Chapter 4 is going to end, considering that this is essentially the penultimate chapter. Because Chapter 5, that's it. It's game over, to be honest. Unless you mean to tell me that Poppy Playtime is about to set up with a Chapter 2, a sequel. Which would be crazy if they did, but... I mean, we all thought Ben the Ink Machine was done, but... Then it came back with Dark Revival a few years later. So, I mean, like... It could be the same for for Poppy Playtime? Who knows? But hey, what do I know? I don't see the future. But anyways, guys, that's going to be the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is OneGamer54. signing off.